Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video. Today folks, in this video I am going to be showing you what I consider the top 5 base locations for PvP as well as PvE on the Ragnarok map. Now, it is important to bear in mind that the map is not yet complete and this is based on my own personal experience. And so the locations that I will be showing you are both good for PvP as well as PvE, and that they will contain both water and some resources around them as well as a good prime location. So if you enjoy this video, don't forget to let me know by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new for more similar content from myself, and why not check out some of my other videos, who knows, you might just enjoy them. Now, an important note here is the fact that these locations that I will be showing you are my own personal preferences. Obviously, people may have different opinions, which is alright. You know, people will want or will think that there are other places better to build, which is fine, but these are the places that I do like. Here is the coordinates for the first location. Now, I have built a griffin trap on this location because of the way it's placed. So here we go. Quickly show you the area around, and then we'll do a flyby so you guys can see why I've chosen this location. Now, this is a little island. You can build a fairly small base, and there is no way up that a attacking tribe in terms of PvP would be able to get up. There's also this location right here, and there is only one path up, so this would be a medium-sized base with good defensive cliffs. So that means if you are on a PvP server, you'll probably want to build a base on this area. And I'll just quickly show you the surrounding area. So there are ways to get up, however the base would be on a fairly steep cliff, and so therefore it would be very difficult for other tribes to get land creatures up to your base. There is one path up which you could use as a funnel system, and I'll show you that right now. There we go. So this would be the only way up. Again, you could use this as a funnel system to get your own dinos up, and obviously funnel what dinos come up if you are on a PvP server. However, this is also a good location for a PvE server. This is where I was going to build my base on the official servers. However, I've stopped playing on the official servers, so I've abandoned that idea. However, in my playthrough series, I will be building another base in one of the following 5 locations that I've shown you, or at least I would like to do that. However, in this area there is another good flat piece of ground where you can build a massive base if you are an alpha tribe, which would be this right here. As you can see, it's really flat. It's all surrounded by edges, so you wouldn't be able to get land dinos here unless you probably fly them on the back of a Quetzal and airdrop them, but that would be the only way. You also have a nice pool of water that you can access, which is right here. As you can see, it's really nice, really flat. It's got cliffs on all sides, so good location. And you can use the first location that I showed you to build a bridge between the two, so you can bring your own land dinos up. I'm just going to show you this area around here so you can see that there is no way to get dinos up around this area. Again, it just goes down into a cliff-like area, so yeah, there is a very good defensive place. Obviously, you'll have the cold to deal with up here, but it doesn't really matter, you know. It's overall a very good natural defense, just the fact that you have the cliffs. It's also a good location for PvE because you can get griffins from this area. There's brontos, there's rexes that spawn in this area. So you can get a lot of high-end stuff, and you're not very far from the green obelisk, so you can also do the bosses if you want to do, if that's a thing that you want to do. And down here is a nice little surprise. It's got a nice little cave system that you could probably turn into something like a dino storage area. There's not a lot of space, but it's still a nice little thing. And if you are on a PvP server, you will probably most likely want to enclose this and keep people out of it. The second base location that I think is a really good prime base location is on the new release of the map, of the Ragnarok map. I've just shown you briefly the coordinates, and the base location is up here. It is a nice prime location. It's got flat land. It's only got 2 ways up. Again, you can use that as a way to funnel enemies up if you are on a PvP server, but it's also good as a PvE server. I've also considered this as a place to build one of my bases, and as you can see, it is absolutely massive in terms of size. It is all surrounded by cliffs. This is the second way up, so it's a nice little footpath. You can get dinos up this way. If you are on a PvP server, you can funnel what comes up and use that as a defensive measure. And here's the even better bet: you have oil. There are 3 oil nodes around this area. So there's one right there, and there's another one there, and another one behind me. So you would never ever run out of fuel, so that's a good thing. There's also water up here as well. But before I get to the water, I'm just going to quickly do a flyby of the area so you guys can see what the area looks like and why I think it's a good location. This right here underneath me is actually quite flat, so a good place to start building the base. Down there you've just seen a nice node of water. There's also another one around on my right. I'll show you it in a bit. Here's the other water node. Well, actually 2. There's 3. There's actually 3 water nodes, so you will have plenty of water if you need it. There we go. I never actually counted how many water nodes there are up here, but yeah, you do have water. You do have some resources, a lot of rock to build your base out of, some wood and all that. And this is basically what your enemies would have to contend with. So not an easy location for an enemy on a PvP server to get to. You can defend it quite well, and I think it has quite a few good views. And this is the bit I was going to show you. Look at this. Look how flat this piece of land is. This is perfect for building a base or starting out a base. I don't think it gets any flatter than this, does it? So with that being said, I will be going off to the next base location, and I'll see you folks in a little bit. Here is the third awesome base location, and this is good for PvP as well as PvE. So the base location I have in mind is just around where this water is. You can use pillars to anchor it to the ground, and again, you have water, you have oil, there's plenty of things to hunt. You can build fur, and it is all surrounded by cliffs with the exception of one side, which you can obviously turn into a defensive maze if you are on a PvP server to defend your base. I think the other good thing about this base location is the fact that it's cold. And what I like about this particular base location is the fact that if your enemies aren't well prepared, you can use the elements to kill them. And what I mean by that is, if they don't have fur armor, they will die because of the cold. So with that said, you can also use specific dinos that target armor, like Arthropleurus, to destroy armor, and that would make an absolutely wicked defense. It is also a good location for PvE because you've got a lot of stuff here, a lot of rare resources such as oil, and there is even obsidian up here that can be found and mined. So obviously a good location, a good prime location for PvE as well as PvP. And here is one of the caves that does yield a lot of oil. I did go through it just so I can show you guys that there is another way in, so you can use that as a nice maze for people that want to come up that way. There's also this way straight ahead, It's up to you how you want to defend this. It does offer quite a few options in terms of that. However, I'm looking at it from a PvE perspective, and it is quite a nice location. The only thing is you will need 4 armor, so you probably will have to be quite advanced in the game to be able to build a base here. The other good thing about this base location is that you are not far from Viking Bay, and down there you can find loads of black pearls for those that want to access the endgame content. And not far from the ice biome is the 4th base location that I was going to show you folks. And up here, as you can see, it is fairly flat and it is quite a large area, so you can build a massive base. If you are on a PvP server, this would definitely be a good Alpha Tribe base location. There's also water up here, so that means you don't have to travel far for water. And underneath this location is a cave system that yields 2 artifacts. So I'm going to do a quick flyby of the area so you folks can see what the area looks like. Up here is a good place to build a nice little castle-like structure thing. There is a nice bridge connecting this area to the next area that you can use as a funnel system. You can bring land dinos up. You can even take over the next area, which I will show you in a bit, because it's also a good area to keep or build a base. And like I said, this would be a good area for a Alpha Tribe on a PvP server. As you can see, again, it's fairly flat, not as flat as the area before, but it's still good enough. And if you have both of these little islands, you can build a massive base, and you would also have a way of getting up, as you wouldn't have to build your way up. However, you could always build a wooden ramp up to the first location and obviously destroy it in case of a raid, and that would reduce the options that an opposing tribe would have to get to you, meaning that they would have to work a lot harder and waste a lot more resources to be able to raid your base. It's also a good PvE location because of all the other good stuff that they offer around here. You've got trees, you've got stone, you've got prime meat in the form of Brontos that spawn. You've got a good location for Rexes that spawn, and there is also a swamp below that will offer many other forms of resources, so most definitely a good PvE based location. So I'm gonna quickly fly back to that first major island where I will show you the coordinates for those that don't know where it's located. And here we are. Here are the coordinates. Now this is a very generic location in terms of coordinates because it is quite a big plot of land. And I'll see you folks in the next location in a couple of minutes. So here we are at the 5th and final base location. This is a good PvE and PvP based location. It is pretty much well out of the way of many other people's bases or where they would want to build. You do have a lake down there. It is a good defensive based location if you are on a PvP server because it is surrounded by cliffs, so that would make the work that much harder for your enemies to get to you and try to raid you. There are a couple of small things that you might need to consider, and that would be these little holes down here that you would have to cover up or find a way to stop the enemy tribes from getting to them. However, as you can see, it is all surrounded by cliffs, so that means they cannot get land dinos up. Alternately, you could build a thatch bridge and just destroy it if you do get attacked. And I think this is really nice in terms of the terrain because it's really flat. It's actually a large flat area with no obstacles, so that means you can build a nice base on a fairly large area that is quite flat in terms of PvE play, but also in terms of PvP you would have a nice flat area surrounded by cliffs, meaning that enemy tribes would really have to work hard to be able to raid your base. And while there is no water up here, there is a nice lake of water down there, so water isn't that far. And there is also the cold that your enemies will have to worry about. That also means you will also have to worry about the cold because it can do quite a bit of damage and it will kill players in due time. So there's another element that you can use to your advantage. Now straight ahead is another little cliffy island area that you can use to build a bridge between the two areas, and that does go down to the lower portion, and you can use that as your way up, as well as an additional defensive system. So I'm going to do a quick flyby of this area so you guys can have a good look at the area if you haven't seen this location or didn't know about it. So these are my top 5 base locations, both for PvE as well as PvP. And so these are what I would class as my top 5 base locations for the Ragnarok map. Here are the coordinates for those that want to come and check this place out. And why not tell me what you think about my top 5 base locations? Do you guys agree with it? If you don't, it's alright. Just let me know down in the comments section. And why not let me know what you think I missed out on, or what you think I should have included in this video. That is it from me, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to let me know by smashing that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and again, if you are new, why not check out some of my other videos? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. Until next time, stay safe, folks.